justice for all.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Here.
Mrs. Bryce.
Here.
Mr. Greco.
Here.
Mr. Lawson.
Here.
Mr. McDowell.
Here.
Mr. Parquet.
Here.
Mr. Pavelko.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Motion to approve the minutes from October 14th and October 28th, 2021 council meetings. Also, we had an executive session on November 4th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 14th and the October 28th meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet, to approve the minutes from the October 14th and October 28th meeting. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
No.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mrs. Ackerman, payroll report, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Payroll report for the month of October 2021. Administration, $11,341.20. Tax collection, $1,012.74. Borough building, $1,575. Police, $50,342.10. Fire department, $225. Code enforcement, $3,840. Sanitation, $1,127. Highway, street department, $33,675.80. Total for the month of October, $103,138.84. Treasurer's report for the month of October 2021. Balance in the checking account as of October the 1st, $878,272.79. Balance in the checking account as of October 31st, 2021, $678,456.57. I'd make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Bill report for the month of October 2021. Total amount of bills paid for the month of October, $132,802.35. Make a motion to accept the bill report as read.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the bill report as read by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, the proposed budget for 2022. Real estate and occupation taxes, $899,100. Act 511 taxes, $499,079.37. Community service and special taxes, $14,500. Recreation tax, $24,000. Library tax, $3,600. Licenses of permits, $81,600. Fines and costs, $38,100. Interest and rents, $23,000. Intergovernmental revenues, $450,350.47. Departmental earnings, $597,100. Miscellaneous revenue, $15,000. I missed something. On the departmental earnings, there is railroad maintenance, $2,647.03, and sewer line maintenance, $203,761. Go down to the other revenues, $178,433. Municipal state pension aid, $13,997. Proposed column totals on 12/31/22, $2,781,762.84. Total of all revenues in 2022, $2,837,859.84. Expenditures, administration, $163,275. Tax collection, $28,850. Law, legal, $15,700. Borough building, $101,850. Police, $665,658.37. Fire department, $54,255. Code enforcement, $70,000. Health and sanitation, $329,359. Highways, $541,968. Sewer line maintenance, $203,761. Highways, $541,968. Parking, $500. Transit authority, $4,000 for operating funds, and this one again. With the parking, $2,647.03. Transit authority, $24,000. Recreation, $28,000. Distribution of special services taxes, $3,600. Under fire protection tax, $14,500. Under recreation tax, $24,000. And under library tax, $3,600. Insurance and employee benefits, $514,000. Non-uniform MMO pension plan contributions, $13,997. Other expenses except non-uniform, $247,247.47. Proposed column totals, $2,781,762.84. Total of all expenditures in 2022, $2,837,859.84. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2022 proposed budget, which will be on display for and advertised, which will be on display and advertised for 10 days at the administration office, 603 Meldon Avenue, Donora.
Can I ask a question? On Wednesday, last Thursday, we had a work session. Terry said that there was $500,000 some dollars in the sewage line.
That's because there's a PennVest loan, which goes for the lines that we actually pay into. So that was the total amount. This is only the sewer line maintenance fee.
And that's why I asked for last time. I said, "Look, where is that money?" And you said it was $500,000, but you're saying they're going $203,000?
Only in the sewer line maintenance. I gave you the total. I read you both lines.
You know, we never met to talk to each other. We never got together as a family. We never went onto the line. We never talked about what we're spending. And so I don't know how you expect me to make a motion or vote on a budget that we've never sat down and talked about.
This is just a proposed budget.
Again.
This is just a proposed budget. You know, it could change, and in fact, if a new council comes in, or whenever a new council comes in, they could reopen the budget.
I know, I'm all aware that this election year, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the questions that we
Well, she
just
gave
never
you an
met.
answer. She said that she gave you the total amount, and then she just gave you the amount that was actually in the sewage line maintenance fee.
Okay, I just wanted my question answered, that's
All
all.
right, thank you. Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Ackerman. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Parquet. Read the motion.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
No.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelka?
I may be old school, but in the past, the whole council would meet and go line by line through.
I did that last
We
week
did
at the
that.
work session.
Excuse me, but you read it out, nobody asked a question.
I offered to ask the questions, but I said stop it,
Okay,
as
well-
that was the time that you do it.
Okay, we used to meet on a Saturday, and Mr. Baristecki, I think you can reiterate that is true. It went for 3 to 4 hours, went through the budget. Some things were added, some things were left the same, some things were taken out. But everybody had to say. I didn't hear nobody saying anything. So
Well, you
with that-
met with me
that,
once
I'm gonna
already.
vote
You're on the
no.
finance committee. You
I'm
met
gonna
with me
vote no.
once. You never came back.
Not only that, this wasn't the first year that we come up with a proposed budget. And we did it the same way this year as we did last year.
And last year it was wrong too.
And I asked last year
And
for
last
a
year,
meeting
at the
also.
end of the
Nobody
year-
answered the questions. All right, I had a second on it.
We're on the middle vote.
Okay.
I
Mr.
voted no.
Parquet, I want Mr. Pavelko,
No.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-12, Mon Valley Sewage Authority intent for support of the LSA grant funds. Mr. Caprani, could you read that resolution, please?
Yes, Mrs. Ackerman. This is resolution number 2021-12, the Borough of Donora and the Mon Valley Sewage Authority. It's a declaration of official intent to sponsor and support the Mon Valley Sewage Authority in applying for grant funds from the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Washington in the form of the Washington County Local Share Account for purposes of the 2022 WWTP Energy Efficiency Improvements Project. In the resolution provides, whereas the Mon Valley Sewage Authority intends to apply to the Redevelopment Authority for financial assistance in the form of a grant from the Washington County Local Share Account for the completion of energy efficient improvements at the Mon Valley Sewage Authority wastewater treatment plant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Borough of Donora hereby declares as follows. The Borough of Donora officially intends to support and sponsor the Mon Valley Sewage Authority's intent to apply to the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Washington for grant funds from the local share account to be used for the construction of roof replacements, floodlight upgrades, existing boiler replacements. Enacted and resolved this 10th day of November 2021 by Borough Council. Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Make a motion.
I need a second.
Yes, and second.
Motion to Resolution 2021, Mon Valley Sewage Authority intends for support of LSA grant, second by Mr. Parquet.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll make a motion to advertise to accept bids for borough-owned property at 5th and Thompson, parcel number 240-023-00-02-0017-00.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the advertised bid for the property at 5th and Thompson by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet.
Mr. President, I just
Yes.
have a point of order on that. I would ask that Mrs. Ackerman consider amending her motion to require bidders to provide a check or a certified check to accompany his hand money with the bids and the amount that the council may deem appropriate. I would suggest $1,000.
Okay, so I want to amend the motion to say that we require the bidders to make
To accompany their
to
bid
accompany the bid
with a check for
with a check for the
$1,000. Naturally, you return it.
amount for $1,000?
Yes.
Okay.
It is hand money.
So we wouldn't return the
That's what you
$1,000.
said.
Well, yeah, if they did get the bid, we'd return the
We
money.
would
First
return.
bid, we'd just take it off, okay.
Mr. Family,
Yes, Mr. Bell.
would it be wise to ask for a plan of what they're planning to do with the building also?
What I would recommend we would do is that once we receive bids, we'll open them, we'll invite the bidders to come to a council meeting and state what their purpose for the property are.
Yeah, with the,
What we can do is either look at putting restrictive language in a sales agreement or in the deed if we transfer it, to would say it has to be used for this purpose, or, as we've had with other properties in the past, so.
We haven't had that in motion.
No, we could build that into the, we're just listing monetary there. You know, I
Along those
think,
lines, the building is quite unsafe, is it not?
I'd have to defer to Michelle. I haven't been in that structure in probably 7 years,
I
so I
know the
really don't
impression
know.
it's like really
Yeah,
dilapidated.
I feel that there is an issue there, I've not been in it, but that's been.
Mike, do we store things in there?
Just in the basement?
Because we don't go upstairs?
Because there's no think that if we're gonna give it out to the lowest bidder or whatever, we should put some time restrictions on it to make it safe. And then, do whatever it is they plan on doing with it in the future. But if they're gonna go in there and work, who knows if the ceiling's gonna come down on them?
And they would certainly have to bring it up to code before they can get an occupancy permit. But I think it depends on what the use would be too. But my thought is, let's see what bids come in first. I mean, we, council, this isn't a contract for services. We could reject any bid for any reason. This is a discretionary function of council to sell its own property. So we can tie any condition that council, majority of council thinks is appropriate.
I have a question about that. I was the one who brought up the whole thing about the church.
You want to come up to the podium so everybody can hear you?
How you doing? My name is Caleb. I was the one who brought up about the church. I actually want to live in it. That's it. I don't want to do nothing else with it, not a business, nothing. Just fix it up to live in it, if that's allowed.
Once you have the building, it's up to you. You want to do it. But there will probably be codes that you're going to have to follow, before, because that was more or less, I don't know what nobody would label the church as a commercial building or not, but you're going to make it into a residential.
Yes.
So I'm sure that there's different codes and everything that you would have to come up to make it livable.
Okay, I'm willing to do all that.
They'd have to sign, you'd have to have, electricians who would sign off on any type of electrical work that was done in there, same thing with gas people and that, so as long as all that was done, you can do whatever you want with this,
I have a question on that. I feel like I would only need roofers and electricians, like everything else I can do myself. I'm a plumber, a carpenter, and everything else. Is it possible for me to work on everything but the roof and the
Yeah, but
electricity?
it's still gonna have to pass inspection.
Sir?
Yeah.
It's still gonna have to pass inspection, whether you do it or Joe Doe does it, it
Oh,
still
yeah.
has to pass inspection.
I'll pass the inspections.
What I would recommend, so is if you do put in a bid for this,
Yes.
if you would just give us like a construction plan, I don't need like drawings or anything at this stage. But if you said, look, these are the changes I'm gonna make to the property over this period of time, these are the contractors I would use, or this is work I have to perform myself, at least that way we have something we could measure.
Okay. Well, I haven't actually been in it to let you know exactly what's gonna be changed and worked on, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fix the whole thing up. Okay?
I wish you luck.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Greco? Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ackerman. Health sanitation code enforcement, Mrs. Price.
Okay, sanitation report for the month of October 2021. Monies collected, $7,546.10. Delinquent sanitation fees to the magistrate, $1,000.66. Fine sanitation fees to the magistrate, $487.48. Code enforcement building permits report for October 2021. Permits issued 3, construction cost $5,700, permit fee $188.50. Code enforcement report, inspections $499, compliance orders 70, permits 17, citations 33, hearings 19. And she also attended a community planning webinar and the Planning Commission public hearing. Occupancy report for the month October 2021. fees, $250. Year-to-date, $1,050. Registration fee report for October 2021. Registration fees, $822.48. Year-to-date, $26,952.48. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Bryson. Recreation, Mr. Pavapoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was no monies collected during the month of October, but year-to-date, from the recreation, is $16,550. And, Mr. President, that's all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pavapoli. You have an announcement, right? I'm sorry. Community Affairs Municipal Governor, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you. I have a banquet hall report for the month of October 2021. Monies collected during the month of October 2021, $700. Year-to-date, $6,675. I also have an announcement. Twinkle Night will be held on Friday, November 26, 2021, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 6th Street and McCain Avenue. And hopefully we can get the public to come down and see us on Nightlight and give me all your support. I'm quite sure they'll be glad to see everybody down there, and appreciate you coming down. Also, I'd just like to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your family, and have a safe one. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawson. Highways and Streets, Mr. Parquette.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one announcement, the Donora Street Department has begun fall leaf pickup. Please call the borough office at 724-379-6600 to get on the list. Place leaves on the edge of your property line. Please avoid raking leaves onto the roads to avoid clogging the storm drains. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Parquette. Public Safety, Mr. Greco.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, the police report for the month of October 2021, complaints answered was 284 complaints. They had 8 ambulance escorts. They investigated 4 automobile accidents, and they responded to 2 burglar alarms that were activated. And they also unlocked 2 locked vehicles. So total complaints that responded to during the month was 301. Under the offense of arrest reports, there was 2 assaults, both were cleared by arrest. There was 3 thefts, 1 arrest made for that, and a PFA. There was 2 PFA charges, and both were cleared by arrest. Drug violations, 3 cleared by 2. They had a DWI arrest and 11 disorderly conduct arrests, for a total of 19 arrests. Motor vehicle arrest total 13. Warnings, they issued out 16. Imagine the motor vehicle arrest, we're talking citations, correct, Superintendent? Is that correct, Jim? The motor vehicle arrest, we're talking 13 citations. So, mileage report for the month was 3,518. That averages out to about 37 miles per shift. Financial report for the month. Overtime cost $3,192.31. Court time cost $877.48. Year-to-date, the overtime come to $15,719.70. And the court time year-to-date come to $6,250.56 for a total of $21,970.26. Parking ticket, I guess parking on the corner near a fire hydrant or whatever, there was a $10 ticket issued for that. And other revenue from the police received from police reports, $75. Received from the magistrate and fines, $2,611.86 for a total of $2,686.86. And other revenues during the month received for parking permits. They got $100 in parking permits, and they received $10 from the magistrate for parking violations. Total revenue received was $2,786.86. $1,256.86. And that's all I have. I'd like to make a motion, though, however, that we advertise for the police civil service testing.
Second.
Okay, I have a question on the motion.
Just for a new hire?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Greco, second by Mrs. Ackerman. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Greco. Mayor's report?
I just wanted to say I hope everyone has a nice Thanksgiving and comes down to Twinkle Bright.
Okay. Mrs. Brown?
No, thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Superintendent Price?
No report.
Mr. Petrosky?
No report.
Fire Chief Vince?
No report.
I have a question, Mr. Vince. I brought it up at the work session, and I didn't know whether anybody knew anything or not. Betsy, at one time, was this years ago maybe, or maybe recently, did the borough ever donate $5,000 a year towards fire department for equipment and stuff like that?
Yeah, that was years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, that.
I stand corrected. Thank you.
Code Enforcement Officer, Mrs. Harris?
Yes, I'd like to advise residents that we are experiencing a borough-wide problem, infestation problem. It's a community-wide problem and everyone should do their part. Please examine your properties for holes, look under shrubs, ivy, and in crawl spaces. For holes, use garbage cans with lids. Look for cracks in your foundation or in your basement windows or doors, any openings that they may get in. Clean up after your pets, it's very important. If you feed your pets outside, make sure you bring their food and water bowl in after they're done eating. Bird feeders and barbecue grills attract rodents, so please keep those areas clean. If you have a dripping water faucet outside, turn the water supply off either on the inside or fix the faucet because they go for water. Cover your outside drains and dryer vents so they cannot get in. And my office will be targeting areas in the borough that we're having the infestation with targeted enforcement. That's going to be increased inspections. Anyone that isn't using garbage cans with lids or other violations that would attract these unwanted pets will be getting notices and fines if they do not comply.
Tomorrow's a holiday. I've got raw garbage right on the curb. Garbage bags, lid open, chicken bones, diapers, all raw garbage. The garbage isn't going to be picked up until Friday.
No, it should come tomorrow. It shouldn't affect this hauler. Yeah.
Oh.
This holiday.
Yeah, it'll be, it's just the major holidays.
Is your garbage in bags or is it in cans?
It's the neighbor. It's the garbage.
My garbage is in cans.
Yeah, it's the neighbor that she's saying is on it. They put it on the sidewalk.
Whenever you have a problem, please call my office and I'll try to address
This
it.
happened, I didn't notice it was 5:03.
Yeah, I'm trying to go up there every couple days, and I'm sorry I wasn't all up there today.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Any old business? New business? Non-agenda items I have, this is Terry Parada, step up business.
May I take off my mask?
Yes.
Okay, I came to meetings from 2011 to 2017, and then I quit coming. But when I read the article in the paper last week, I highlighted a couple things, and I wanted to come. When they reported the street sweeper, that it stirs up dust, and I agree with that, they never use water. At the very beginning, they were using water and at least kept it down. That was one thing. It says residents have been complaining to the individual borough council members for years. This agenda, I have them from 2011. I have them in envelopes. I went through them last night and today. I started attending in May of 2011, and my last one was this one, March of 2017. Lignelli resigned of September of 14, and Donnie Kabelka was announced the mayor of November 14. Jason Menendez and Marie Trezza, they both resigned, one in November of 15 and one in December of 15. So I was complaining about the dust way back while they were all in. All of a sudden, it's such a thing, but nothing was done back then. The one thing I remember, and I wrote down, and Donnie, you had stated in here that you talked to somebody on the DEP and PennDOT regarding the condition of the roadway due to truck traffic. I wrote down Scott Street. It was supposed to be made back then in 2015 that they would, now the people that lived before, like coming into Donora before Scott Street, I don't know, but they were going to go all the way down where Percy Law's funeral home was, turn down Scott Street, cross the railroad tracks, and they were going to enlarge the road so that the trucks could make the wide turn. Well, that was never done, and then it was put into meetings.
Terry, that was 14th Street, and they did widen it a little bit, but PennDOT never went through with making the 14th Street and they never made it a truck route. They never did.
Well, is that something that could be done now? I mean, because like I said, I have every single one of these agendas. I went through them and I marked down a few things, plus that article, and I thought it was Scott Street, but you're saying it was 14th Street? Okay,
They widened it a little bit, and there was some type of problem there, and I can't remember exactly what it was.
But I remember PennDOT was
And then
supposed to do
PennDOT
something
dropped
with
out of
that.
it. But getting back to the street sweeper, they have been testing different street sweepers, and I got a call today, they had another one in either today or yesterday. They're going to go with the first one they had, and I myself, Mike Pedrosky, and Superintendent Bryce witnessed this street sweeper. It doesn't use water at all. It's all a filtration system, and it seemed to do. I didn't mean it. I
didn't do anything. No, what I was going to say also,
So, I mean,
I've been behind that sweeper different times. They never even have the sweepers down.
They're getting a different sweeper. It's a $300,000 investment for them. So we watched it. It did a much better job. Is that going to solve the problem? No, but the citizens group is up and active, and that company said that they will try to alleviate problems. So they showed cooperation. We'll see what happens.
Because I remember talking specifically, I told Marie, one Saturday I swept my friend's sidewalk at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was out and about, I come back, I swept it again, and just as much dirt. And that was on one day. I just wiped down my windows. I don't even wet them. I just try to get all the...
The conversation is open now, so...
Yeah, but I just wanted you to see if there's anything they could do by 14th Street, or where they could enlarge or do something so that they could go down through the Mida property, you know, instead of coming all the way up to 8th Street and then turning down. So I just thought I would mention that. Thank you very much.
There's a reason why they don't put their brushes down.
What?
It was explained to me by the company. There's a reason why they don't put brushes or for curbs. It's like when they're cleaning out the side of the curb. That's what the brush is for. But on the road, you don't want the brushes to stir up the coal dust. You want them to just suck the dust up.
Yeah, but it does nothing. It doesn't even vacuum it or anything.
Well, that isn't a very, it is an older machine. They did discuss it, like Donnie said, they were being proactive and looking into buying a better one, a newer one, that's more conducive to the coal dust. So that's happening.
Okay, I just wanted that if you could check into seeing if they could still go down that way. Because that was brought up way back in 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. I got Mr. Nedger.
That was for agenda item, right?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I was at the meeting here when we had the budget meeting, and I gotta tell you, if that's the way you guys present budgets and vote on them, I'm with Donnie as far as needs more detailed discussion. Couple points. $60,000 for citations that are uncollectible. Who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for $60,000 being owed to the borough that hasn't been, pardon?
You go to the magistrate.
The magistrate, but what citations are we talking about? We're talking about building citations or all of the above? Violation?
I think it's a collection of everything, the garbage, the code, motor vehicle, probably.
Yeah, all our
Probably
citations
a
go to the
variation of
So we have no authority over collecting those citations as
We
a
get
council?
$1.68 sometimes a month from people. They pay on them over many years
So we have $60,000 that's is owed to the borough
for this year.
for 1 year.
Yes.
Okay.
There's prior years, people are still paying. on as well.
$60,000. Okay, second item, blight. We all would agree that blight's a problem in this valley, and specifically Donora, all the towns. The budget for last year, the actual spending was what, $14,500?
For the-
This year is going to be $15,000.
It was 15 last year too. We spent 14 this year.
$15,000 you budgeted to take care of blighted structures in this town.
We have multiple funding sources for blight.
Okay, well, when Terry read the budget, when we were talking, you guys were talking about it, it was a $15,000 number.
You've been to other meetings? In fact, I think you...
No, I haven't been to other meetings. I've been to one meeting. That was enough.
There was a presentation, it was not, correct, it was not at the last meeting, it was the prior workshop, where the redevelopment authority came, talked about the CDBG grant funding that we could use for those types of purposes. So there's other federal pass-through monies that we receive.
Okay, so see, I have a problem with your accounting. Okay, I really, really do. When's the next audit for the borough?
We get audited every year.
Okay, well, when is the next audit?
In January, they do it January till March. And then
In
they
January
announce it
or is it in the spring?
They start in January.
And that's
They
from the
come to
state or
office.
for the public accountants?
That is our hired company that we hire to do ours.
Your
And
public
then-
accountants?
Yes, and then we
Okay.
also have state auditors that come
And
as
when
well.
does the state auditors come?
They announce it randomly, we never know.
Okay. You have roughly $1.4 million from tax revenues. And you got a budget of 2.5 to 2.8. That whole difference, I don't know how you can predict that. I don't know how you in good conscience could put on a piece of paper or all the sheets that you put together, almost $1.2 million of money coming in from grants, from, the gas money, gasoline, the drilling tax, the casino tax.
Because they send us the letter notifying that we're getting it.
Whatever that is, for you to predict it down to the penny is hard for me to comprehend.
Because I get a letter and they tell us what we're getting.
Well, not only that, Terry, it wasn't a meeting of the council yet last week. It was your meeting, giving everybody else your opinion of what the budget should be. I find that, as a person whose tax dollars you're spending, it's more, and the little meeting you guys have upstairs before the meeting, a lot of that's discussed.
Mr. Nedrow.
I have the floor, Joe. You can talk later,
Can you at least let her
okay? And
answer
so
my question?
when Joe seems to,
You asked
when
the
Joe,
question, let her
I don't
answer.
mind having a discussion, but when
Well,
you
I'm
start-
talking, Mike.
Okay, I'm talking now.
well, I was in the middle of a sentence, Mike.
Okay, I hate to go. I'm talking, I want to explain something. I don't want anybody badgering anybody.
We're not
You
badgering.
know
We're
what I mean?
taxpayers, Mike.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
Okay.
Pardon?
Go ahead, proceed.
Okay, so, when, the only person I heard speaking at that meeting was Joe. Maybe an odd question here or there. Okay? And where's the discussion that Donnie said happened before about each line item? I can't imagine that amount of money that gets, other than taxes, gets talked about without any kind of detail. It just blows my mind.
When we sit down to work on the budget, we have to rely on our administrator to tell us what the figures are
Rely on
for the
administrator,
revenue.
right.
Because we do not know.
Okay?
We know the expenses, but we don't know the revenue.
Well, you voted on it.
Right, right.
Well,
We know what we spend. We know what we spend.
Usually what we spend is a projection of what the budget will be. If we spend, let's say, I'm just using a figure, let's say we spend $120,000 on police. We know that some of the things that we spend is going to increase this year, so we might increase it by another $10,000.
I understand
You know,
that.
and then we look at, actually, we might have had $120,000 for police last year, budgeted it into the budget, and we only spent $100,000. Now, we had $20,000 over. We might only put $10,000 of that back in. So that's how we come up with a budget.
I understand. You guys have spent more time with these numbers, I'll give you that.
A budget
But
is-
just hearing the discussions and seeing the numbers that are published, it doesn't make sense to me.
A budget.
This is just a proposal. These numbers could
I
change.
understand, Mike, but I'm talking about looking at year-to-date numbers Cindy asked about the sewage account. And this is something I asked about, because quite frankly, the sewage account, $5 we pay is a tax. It's a tax. It's not a capital fund contribution. It's a tax. Okay? And she asked twice. I've asked her, followed up on it. I still haven't heard exactly what's in the sewage account. You talked about it earlier, and I didn't quite understand that. But that's an example for me, as someone out here talking about what hundreds of thousands of dollars gets pushed around here or there. The COVID money, the garbage bill that you collect 400 and some thousand and get billed 290,000. That difference, there's another big chunk of money that I can't seem to find where it is in a certain account. Okay? So these are a lot of things that I think we need to have the light shined on to get a better understanding. If I have a question, some of these other people have a question. Okay? But you guys voted on the budget, and we can bring it back up in the new year, but from a newbie coming in here, it's troublesome. It's troublesome. Okay, there's some other things I would talk about, but you gave me more time than I thought you would. But I do have one other question, though. What was the amount of money spent on code enforcement last year? You budgeted $70,000. Do you know what it was last year, what we spent, or year to date?
Current budget for this year?
Yes, yes.
Sure. One second. $59,030.
Okay. Now, can we ask what that incremental is going to be for next year, possibly?
I don't have the paper in front of me, sir. I mean, I don't.
We have that salaries included in that?
Everything's included, everything that she does, yes.
All right, so
Building,
that's-
I mean, there's everything, I mean, and there's also building permits need to be added into that. I mean, there's multiple things. I mean, if you want expenditures, revenues, I
Well,
can
but
break all that down for you.
you proposed a salary increase. I
Yes.
want to know what that number was of that. But getting back to the blight real quick, so the blight number is kind of in that number as well, correct?
It's just for demos,
Okay.
it's just
But don't you
demolition.
think, though, there's another example, Mike, $15,000 for knocking buildings down. We just spent $400,000 in capital equipment for maintenance over the last 12 to 18 months. For what?
Scott, what you didn't understand was what Steve was trying to tell you. The guy was here, spoke for maybe 2 hours. We have the potential of getting $200,000 through the state grant. So, yes, we plan on getting that as well.
We also have the ability here, unlike a lot of other communities, and I've sat in councils all across southwestern Pennsylvania. Donora is unique in that our street department's able to conduct demolitions. They have the equipment and the training to do it.
You said easily?
Well, I'm sorry?
You said easily can do demolition?
We can do residential demolition and certain other demos. It depends upon what our engineers tell us would be safe or unsafe.
Understood.
It also depends upon height, elevation, those types of things.
I understand, but the 15,000, Steve, is nothing, really. They tore the house down next to me.
Here's what I encourage you to do, while you're giving your talk. Call our legislators, and tell them to appropriate state funds to bail us out. Because that's the one thing they've never done.
Okay? Well, this is kind of what can come about in discussions like this, because all I know is the house they tore down in 1063, that was Unimart, it was like a $30,000 bill. for that, just that one location.
It's very unpredictable. We have hauling fees, dumping fees, there's asbestos remediation.
But I think what he's asking is why isn't there more money put in the budget to cover that?
Well, that's
the
what
question.
I think the answer is that we
So
try
you're
to
saying
get that
you're
from other
trying to
sources.
get- I understand that. I get what you're saying.
Because that drives down the cost of the local taxpayer.
Yeah, but we had a gentleman here came last week, sorry.
One
Cindy.
person at a time talking,
Okay, but
please.
how much money did we get this year for demolition?
I'd have to check our CDBG.
I'm just saying, there's no
We
guarantee
didn't
that
do
you,
for the CBG
We didn't do it this year.
you didn't get any, right?
No.
Nothing came in this year.
No, we didn't apply for blight.
So that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Because it's a process.
That you're saying, this is my problem with the budget. We never sat down and talked about this. I feel that $15,000 is not enough, that we should have tried to find more money so that's guaranteed available to us for when one of these big buildings fall down in the middle of town. We have no game plan, all right? And we can't tear them down because they're 3 stories. But that's my problem with this budget. We never sat together
Okay.
and discussed what we should or
Mr.
should not be
Brandon, can't
spending.
we get money
No, Mrs.
from
Brandon. Mr.
other
Brandon's your
entities
solicitor.
with that?
I'm sorry, Mr. McDonald?
Can we get money from the commissioners or something for this break?
I know various communities have applied for LSA funds to do blight before. I mean, traditionally, the LSA committee doesn't like to invest funds for that purpose. They generally
They want improvements.
They want sidewalk improvements, they want parks, they want recreation and
About for
infrastructure.
emergency
The
demolition.
redevelopment authority, and that's what Mr. Wojtek was talking about, you know, they have done it, they've helped fund demolition in Washington that was a decade in the making at 90 East Chestnut Street. So, you know, there are possibilities for it. My issue continues, and I don't disagree with what Mrs. Bryce is saying at all, it'd be nice to have a larger pot of money to do demos, because we do have fires that aren't always covered by insurance. We have, you know, other catastrophic issues that occur from time to time. But, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but it would be nice if the legislature would find ways to actually fund.
It would be nice if we would watch our budget and spend our money wisely.
Mike, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Mr. Cinzelli on our street came in here the other day, last meeting, I think, 2 meetings ago, and complained about the one property on 10th and McCain. And it had a dumpster sitting there throughout the winter and a big piece of machinery. I don't know if that was a third-party contractor or us, but it's still standing, okay?
Third party, what happened with that was.
It's a 3-story building, and you
The
can't...
place burned down. We don't own that building. We've been after that lady for a year, I think.
2 years.
Maybe 2 years. Superintendent Bryce been trying to catch her in this.
They did, the magistrate did, the constable did take.
I understand, but I mean, there's an example.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
come in with the- she come in with-
it's not a, it's a, you know, it's that close to someone else, it's gotta be a skilled person.
She come in with the dumpster, roll-off, whatever you want to call it. She come in with the equipment. The guys started. She stopped them in the process. She said she needed to go in and get some stuff.
Yeah.
A week went by. 2 weeks went by. A month went by. These
Understood.
guys rent this equipment. That equipment is sitting. It's costing them money. They pulled the equipment out and told her to call them back when she was ready.
Understood.
That's why it all left up.
But I just wanna make this comment. You see how the discussion's happening because we brought it up?
Yeah.
These are kind of things that we, the people, have to start bringing to you with things that we think we should be moving money here, money there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a crowd like this every council meeting
Well,
and have discussions like
thank
this,
you.
but we don't always get them. If you have concerns, come down here to the council meeting and, like Mr. Nedra did, voice his concerns, you know, question us about things, and that's the way you have an open discussion. But you're not gonna do it by pointing the finger at somebody or pointing the finger at a group of people, because you only come to maybe 1, 2 or 3 meetings a year, and you don't like what's being said or what's going on down here. You know, we're all people, we grew up together, we know each other, you know, and I have never shrugged anybody from asking me anything, whether it be here, my home, you see me getting out of my car or something. And it doesn't have to be at a council meeting, but if you have concerns, come down here and question us about it. All right, thank you, Mr. Nezar. Thank you again. Okay, that it? Meeting adjourned.